Welcome back to my Vision News. People are speculating about future of Ethiopian politics after the peace deal signed between Ethiopian federal government and the TPLF. What is going to happen next? Will PM Abiy turn into an autocratic ruler? Will there be genuine opposition to challenge the government? Is he going to follow PM Abiy? Is he going to follow Isaias Afwerki? What is going to be the future of Ethiopian politics? Can PM Abiy's government, can his government's policies be challenged, be questioned? What should opposition do? What are the prospects of democracy in Ethiopia? Several questions are being asked after the signing of the peace agreement which happened around a month ago, on the 2nd of November. Well, I think Ethiopia is at crossroads. What happened in 2018? In 2018, after months of protests, EPRDF alliance was removed from power. EPRDF consisted of parties from Tigray, Oromia, Amhara, other party too. But the struggle was not against TPLF. Struggle for removal of EPRDF was not against just TPLF. Struggle was for restoration of true democracy, respect for people's rights, independence of media, independence of judiciary. That is what people sacrificed for, especially in Oromia. But unfortunately, the struggle became anti-TPLF struggle. Even after EPRDF was removed from Addis Ababa, TPLF was removed from Addis Ababa, the struggle became anti-TPLF. TPLF was not in Addis Ababa, but instead of working towards true democracy in Ethiopia, people kept on blaming TPLF for whatever was happening in terms of negative developments in Ethiopia. Though some progress was made internally, externally, that dissidents were allowed to return to Ethiopia, armed groups were incorporated into society, into parliament as well. But genuine opposition, genuine democracy could not flourish. Why? Because the struggle became anti-TPLF even after it had been completed. TPLF was out of Addis Ababa, but even after that, the struggle's nature remained anti-TPLF. So its objectives in terms of having true democracy in Ethiopia, having rule of law, having independence of media, the true objectives could not be reached. And the Prosperity Party, which was formed, basically it was EPRDF without TPLF. Parties from Oromia and Amhara regions, which were part of EPRDF, they became part of Prosperity Party. Opposition parties gradually lost political space. And then a war broke out. And under the guise of this war, dissenting voices were silenced in Ethiopia. Media silenced. Civil society silenced. Opposition parties silenced. Opposition leaders, some are out of Ethiopia. Bakle Garba, not in Ethiopia. Jawar prefers to remain out of Ethiopia too. They were in prison too. Jawar, Bakle Garba, Skandanaga. they were put in prison too. Only those dissenting voices which stuck alliance with the Prosperity Party, with the government, they were allowed to work. Like in Amhara region, opposition parties Nama and Azima, they contested election as opposition parties last year, opposed PP. But then after the election, they were made part of the government. Election was held, but opposition parties boycotted the election. Main parties, OFC, OLF, their leaders were in prison. Jawar in prison, Bakle Garba in prison. ONLF, they boycotted the election. PM Abiy just smoothly got majority, elected for a 5-year term. So he has 4 years in power. Now, when TPLF is no more a major political party in Ethiopia, it cannot bring about any change in Addis Ababa. What is next? Ethiopia is now at crossroads. There is no single political party which can challenge PM Abiy's government. There is no one institution which can challenge the government. Army can, ENDF can, but ENDF and PP, ENDF and government are on the same page. What is needed is that the struggle which started before 2018, its true objectives should be achieved. And for that, you need a broad alliance of political parties in Ethiopia. Broad alliance of opposition parties to force the government for democratic reforms, to convince the government that media should not be silenced. A new dialogue between the ruling party and opposition platform. Only solution. We know that a National Dialogue Commission is working, but again, boycotted by opposition parties, OFC, OLF, even Azima questioned it. Skandanaga's party, Skandanaga is no more in politics, his party questioned the Dialogue Commission, TPLF, OLA too. So National Dialogue Commission has no true representation of all groups and parties in Ethiopia. What is needed is a joint opposition against PM Abiy's Prosperity Party. I'm not talking about armed resistance, I'm talking about political opposition. OFC alone, OLF alone, ONLF alone, TPLF alone cannot bring about any change in Addis Ababa. Opposition is beauty of democracy. If there is genuine opposition in a country, it means democracy is working. It's delivering. If there is no genuine opposition, it means that democracy is compromised. Problem is that now when Ethiopia is at crossroads, there is no genuine opposition platform to challenge the policies, the narratives of the government. It was difficult for opposition parties to form an alliance a few months ago because everything which was being said to challenge the government was being portrayed as pro-TPLF. Now, when TPLF is no more a major political force in Addis Ababa, at least in Ethiopia, this is the time for formation of new political opposition platform. That is why I say this is the time when Ethiopia is at crossroads. Can opposition parties, helped by diaspora, helped by civil society, can they form this joint opposition front? Or will they keep on waiting for the next 4 years, which they should, even if opposition platform is established, obviously it does not mean that PM Abiy's government should be dismantled, it should be removed. But there is no genuine opposition in Ethiopia now. In Amhara region, opposition parties are part of the government. In Tigray, it's a totally different situation. In Oromia, PP in power. Opposition parties are silent. OLA is playing the role of opposition party, but it is not a party, it is an armed group. So we cannot say it is a political party. What is needed is a formation of a joint opposition platform for attaining of objectives of true democracy and rule of law in Ethiopia. Can it happen? If I know when I'm making this video, after the video, when I'll upload it, some viewers would say, Sajid, now you have launched a new narrative. You are against Ethiopian government. You are against Ethiopia. You are on the payroll of Egypt, on the payroll of Western powers. Similar accusations will be leveled if a new platform is established in Ethiopia by opposition parties. But that is the only solution if you want to achieve something in Ethiopia through political means, not through military means. I am not backing any armed resistance, armed conflict between the government, formation of an armed front against the government. No, I don't propose such things. Though it was tried, TPLF tried it last year when it formed alliance with OLA, other parties. It did not work. Can political struggle work now by opposition parties? That remains to be seen. At least they should start. They should make a start. People of Ethiopia, opposition parties, civil society, media will have to rethink what were the objectives of their struggle in 2017, 2018. Why weren't they achieved? Why did this struggle for true democracy became anti-TPLF struggle? TPLF is no more in Addis Ababa. What about the objectives achieved? Is media more independent now than in 2017-16? Is opposition allowed to work more freely now than in 2017, 16, 15, 14, 13? Almost same situation. There could be some change, little bit of change, not lots of changes. No considerable change. It means true objectives are still unachieved. Now, it is a test of political class's maturity. Does Ethiopian political class have this maturity to foresee and to make decisions by involving parties across the spectrum from different regions? Can it happen? That remains to be seen. Ethiopia is at crossroads. If it does not happen, by the way, if it did not happen, if there is no genuine opposition is formed, what will happen? Obviously, one party rule or one group rule will be strengthened. Democracy will keep on losing whatever space it has in Ethiopia. In a separate video, we'll try to analyze the future of the ruling party and the Prime Minister, PM Abiy. How strong is he now? Is he going to follow in the footsteps of Isaias Afwerki? In the next video. Thanks for watching.